All right. I think we're officially live here on this Monday morning. Hopefully, all is well. Everyone had a great weekend. Today, what we're going to be talking about is content, content creation, some myths, some mistakes. And I really wanted to address these because I think it's really important. There's three reallys. That means it's really important. So that's what I'm going to be covering here today. So if you're watching this on the replay, then yes, that's what we're going to be talking about. And if you have any questions on content creation, if you aren't yet doing your content or your brand, or if you feel like it's just this heavy weighted thing of like having to create content all the time, take it from someone that knows. I've been creating a lot of content for a lot of years. And just more recently, I say recently, in the past 5 years, I've been podcasting religiously, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I think we just hit 947. I think today is 947. It aired. So yeah, so I've been producing a lot of content. Also, I've done a lot of blogging in my day, still do. Have a couple of case study brands that we're working on right now. We produce content for those. We've created as much as 4 to 5 pieces of content a week. Yeah, it's always looking at what are the benefits of the content. Now, I'm not talking about content that is just a social media post. There's a big difference there. And that's what I want to address here today, because when we're talking about content, we could be talking about that stuff too. And that's where people start feeling the weight of content. And what I mean by that is like the task of doing it, or being on a hamster wheel. You're just constantly feeding. We don't want to do that. We want to take our time and use it wisely. And that's really what we're going to be talking about here today. So, with that all being said, if you are on this broadcast live or on a replay, let me know right now. Are you actively creating content for your brand? And if you are, what type of content are you creating? Is it video on YouTube? Is it a blog post content, article content? Is it, I don't know, is it creating Pinterest pins? Is it creating stuff for Instagram? Is it creating stuff for Facebook? Is it creating stuff for Snapchat? Is it creating stuff for TikTok? Clubhouse? Like where are you creating content right now actively, if you are? So let me know. If you are, let me know. If you're not, then let me know that as well. And then I want to dig into why haven't you started creating content yet? All right, so that's what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and look at the comments, see who we got showing up here today on this, well, I was going to say beautiful Monday morning, but it's actually dreary outside here today. I'm hoping the sun is going to come out. We've had a lot of rain here, a lot of rain. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, Karen, what's up? Good morning. Always good to see you. Atlanta in the house. What's up, Derek? Gio's in the house. What's up? Good morning, Ruth. Always good to see you. Oh, and Karen says, hope you're staying warm. It's freezing here in Colorado. Not -9. Is that a minus? That's not a space. That's a -9 degrees right now. Woo, that does not sound good. So looking out and saying, oh, it's only going to get about 50 today. I'm going to feel good about that. What's up, Debbie? Good morning to you as well. What's up, Alejandro, I believe, because he's saying, what's up, Professor? I can't see the profile again. What's up, Kay? Hello, how was your Valentine's Day? It was great. My wife actually spent most of the weekend. Actually, we were kind of redoing. I say redoing, kind of redecorating our sitting room. It has the piano in it and stuff. And yeah, I was helping her with that, and I just kind of chilled a little bit. So it was a good weekend. Rainy though, so we couldn't really do much. Karen says, "Heck yeah, 3 articles per week plus recipes. Awesome." I'm a big fan, Karen. Yes, blog posts and Pinterest pins. Of course you are, Debbie. 2 blogs for a week for one brand, 1 video a week for the other. That's good. I'm planning on creating video content and using that transcript for writing content. That's awesome. Kay, yes, weekly blog posts and Pinterest pins for each post. Now, let me just say, a lot of these people that are coming in here right now, Brand Creators Academy members, I believe. Yes, you guys are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And it's really good to see. Yeah, -9. That's crazy. It's raining there, Derek, and that's in Atlanta, I believe. All right, cool. So this is what we're gonna do. Some of you are already creating content, and that's amazing. Okay. What I want to do here today, though, is for anyone that is not creating or is creating, but feels like it's just a really heavy thing, right? And that you feel like you're not doing enough. Have you ever felt like you're just not doing enough? You're not putting out enough content. You're not putting the content out there that is going to attract the right people. Like, do you ever feel like that? Like you just think more is better? I mean, I've been there, done that. And at times I still struggle with that. So what I want to do though is I want to cover some myths about content. And I also want to cover some mistakes and problems that people are facing. I also want to say this. If you are here on Monday, and this is February 15th, which is crazy, I've got something pretty cool that we're going to be doing here. And Chris Schaefer and myself just had a conversation last week. We finalized it, and we are going to be doing something pretty amazing that is going to help a lot of people with content creation, because I know it's a big, big struggle. So if you do struggle with content, well, I've got something really cool that's coming. It's something we've never done this way before. And I can't say what it is yet, but I'm going to be able to tell you on Wednesday. So make sure you come back here Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, or just look for an email. I'm going to be sending it out in an email. If you're in Brand Creators Academy, I'm going to make a little announcement in there too, so you guys know ahead of time. And you guys are going to get full access to this as well. And the other thing is there's going to be an opportunity for you guys to get this absolutely free. Not just Brand Creators Academy members, but everyone. Now, there is some details there I got to cover, but I'm just letting you guys know I'm doing this a little bit different, and it's a little bit of a test. I tell you guys that all the time here whenever we're on the coffee talks. I kind of let you guys know a little bit about the tests that we do. We've done fast track workshops in the past. We're going to do more. This is not going to be technically a fast track workshop. It's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be all about content creation. So it's coming. And I know, Derek, you're on here. You've been waiting for this. It's coming, my friend. It's coming. Okay. So that's what we're going to be discussing that on Wednesday. I'm going to be sharing with you guys what that looks like and how I'm going to help correct this big problem for a lot of people. And I do want your feedback on it once I do make that announcement. And actually right now, while I'm getting ready here to deliver for you guys, what is one struggle you have with content creation? What's one struggle? Just put one, and there might be many, but just give me one. What's one struggle you have with creating content? All right. So with that, let's get rocking. All right. I'm pretty fired up today. Got a fresh cup of coffee, sitting here with my friends. And yeah, we're gonna dive in here to some content creation myths and mistakes. So here we go. All right, let's start with the myths. When people are thinking about content, they feel like they got to be everywhere, right? And what I mean by that is when I hear people say, "Okay, I've got to create content for Instagram. I got to create content for Facebook. I got to create content for Pinterest. I got to create content for YouTube, the blog, Snapchat, all of this stuff." And I'm like, man, you're never going to be able to keep up with that, ever. No one can. You'd need a full team, right? And you might be looking, well, Gary Vaynerchuk does it. He's got a team. He's got a massive team. And that's all that they do is crank, right? They're feeding. All right. That's not what we want to do. Now, what we can do in the future is we can amplify content using those different feeder platforms, if you will. Okay. But what we really want to think about, and I talked about this the other day. Actually, I shared this on Facebook, and I just wrote or I made a picture, and then I kind of let everybody know my thoughts on this. I want you guys to really think of content as evergreen content. That's the only thing that I want you to be thinking about right now. Okay. And evergreen content, what that basically means, I'm going to get into it a little bit more here. I've got some notes. I don't want to get off track here because I want to cover these myths, right? But I just want to get it right out there right now. Like, we have to shift the mindset that content is equal. It's not. Content is not equal. Okay. There's a place for all different types of content, but the bandwidth that you have is limited. Okay. The bandwidth that you have is limited. It's limited for me. It's limited for you as well, because we only have enough time or not enough hours in the day to do what we can do. So why not spend that time creating an asset? And again, I want you to understand that it's an asset. When you create a piece of evergreen content, I'm not just going to say content, it's evergreen content. When you create that, you have now created an asset for your brand that will bring traffic over to your brand of the right people. Okay. So just remember that and get that in the head. Okay. Content, if all I was to do is to come on here and do this Facebook Live, I am on Facebook right now. Okay. If you're listening to this on the podcast, well, I'm doing this as a way for me to be able to show up. It kind of forces me to create content on a regular basis because I'm showing up live. You guys are expecting it that are here live, right? You guys are like, well, Scott shows up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to go there and hang out and we're going to learn some stuff, right? So it forces me to do that, but I'm not doing it for the sole purpose of a Facebook post. I'm doing it because it allows me to create content that also can stand on its own as an evergreen piece of content. Now, that evergreen piece of content could be a podcast. And some of you asked me, I think it was on Friday when we talked about podcasting, blogging, YouTubing, like all of those things. What should you start with? Whatever is the easiest is my answer, right? But really, a podcast is an evergreen asset, right? I've got people that I can see all my downloads. There's still people going all the way back to episode 1, which I'm kind of like, oh boy, don't go there. And also lots changed since then, right? But there's people that are listening to episode 357, right? There might only be 12 people today that listen to that episode, but that's 12 people every single day. That's an evergreen piece of content. So this here that I'm doing, yes, it serves a purpose. It's here, it's engaging with live people. It will live on its own as a replay, but I'm not doing it for the sole purpose of that. I'm doing it because, number one, I want to help you and I have more energy when I'm live. And then also, I deliver this piece of content that I can create an evergreen asset. It also will reside on the blog, okay, of brand creators. So it'll become its own standalone post, okay? That is evergreen, okay? If I create something for one of our case studies in Brand Creators Academy, there's 2 niche sites that we're building. Our main source there is articles that people are searching for. That is evergreen, okay? That is evergreen, all right? So we got to shift that. If you create something for Instagram, not evergreen. It might sit up there in your IGTV library, but most of the time, people are not going to find that. It's so limited, right? Create an IGTV story video or create a YouTube video. Which one? YouTube. That's the one I'm creating because it's evergreen, okay? So evergreen. All right. So now that I got off of that little tangent, because I do get on a tangent with that stuff, because content is not the same. People say, oh, create content on all the different platforms. No. Evergreen content is where we want to start. We can do all that other stuff later if you want, if you have the bandwidth for it, but not when we're grinding here. Okay. All right. So the myth is you have to be everywhere. You do not have to be everywhere. Okay. The other myth is this: you have to be on social media 3 times per day or more, or else you're just not going to be able to, get an audience. You're not going to be able to, get the algorithm to see your content. Well, it's true that you would have to do that if you were focusing on a social media platform to build up your followers, to build up your Instagram, and then all of a sudden find out that your reach is like so small, right? Like one of these days I should show you guys. I think I've got 30,000 people following the page of Brand Creators. 30,000. Okay. If I put out a random post, which I do often, sometimes I only reach 300 people. Only 300 people. Send an email. Let's say I send an email to the 30,000 people. And let's say I only get a 10% open rate, which is usually more along the lines of like 20. Let's just say 10. Okay. What's that? 3,000? 3,300. What one do I want to focus on, right? So again, there's your social media email list. That's why I'm so big on email list. Or I put a piece of content up, and let's say that I'm getting 100 visitors to that piece of content every single day because people are doing searches that are coming over. It's the same idea. All right. So why would I want to spend my time and put myself on that hamster wheel where I got to keep feeding it? So again, you might be hearing people say, yeah, create your social media content planner schedule thingy. I don't want any part of that. I'm going to post when I want to post, when I have the time to post. Now, I'm not saying that I won't, because now I have evergreen content and I have a system in place. Podcast episodes are going out, blogs are going out. That's a system, right? It's a process. It's kind of working on autopilot. Okay. In a sense, I got to show up, but then it's kind of done from there. So for me to come on and make a mention on Instagram, to make a mention on Facebook when I want, which is usually in the morning, because that's when I'm sitting down looking at my analytics and doing that type of stuff, that's when I would do it. But I'm not going to sit here and plan out and schedule all of my social media posts and all of that stuff for that little bit of gain that I'm getting. I'd rather put money behind it and just push it, to be honest with you. Like, that's what I'd rather do than just play that organic game on social. Now, the organic game on Google and Bing and Yahoo and Pinterest and YouTube, that's one I would play with, okay? Because it just stands a better chance organically, okay? So myth number one, you have to be everywhere. No, you don't. Second one, you have to be on social media 3 times per day or more. No, you don't. And then the third one is you have to create tons of content. You got to create tons of content or else it isn't going to work. It's not true. Now, are your chances going to increase if you have more content on these evergreen content platforms? Absolutely. It's common sense, but you don't have to, okay, in order to get traffic and get those results. Okay. You do not have to. Now, I would recommend, and I'm going to give you guys like an action plan here. What I recommend is getting rid of like, okay, I got to be everywhere. I got to do a whole bunch of content all at once. It's like anything. You got to practice. So in order to practice, you got to get that content created and then get better at it and then start posting on a regular basis. And then we can start to scale that up a little bit. All right. We start baby steps. We crawl, we walk, run, and we sprint. Okay. So those are the big myths. Okay. The 3 big myths there. You have to be everywhere. You got to be on social media 3 times per day, and you need to create tons of content. You don't have to. Okay. Now, that mindset shift, I should say. Okay. Evergreen content. I already mentioned that. And the other one that I want you to put in here is only focus on search intent content. Let's say that together. Search intent content. Okay. What does that mean? If you just randomly go, I think my audience wants to know about, I don't know, bass fishing, I don't know, bass fishing, let's say, locations, right? So you would just say, I think that's what people want to know. We don't want to think about it and say, oh, we guess that that's what they want. We want to do some research. And it doesn't have to be extensive research. It just means going to Google and doing a search and then see what they suggest, because they are the ones that are supplying the search queries for people. Okay. So we want to not have to focus so much on, oh, there's thousands of people searching for this. We just want to know that it's coming up in these search platforms, because then we know that at least it's been searched for. That's it. In the very beginning, I'm not looking at like, okay, is this competitive? How many, how many searches does it get? Should I do this one versus this one? This one here's got 25 backlinks and this one here's got 12. Which one's a better one? What's I got a better chance for? We don't want to go down that road in the beginning, because we don't want to get paralyzed in the over analyzing. We just want to create and get something out there, and you have a better chance of you then being found. Even if it's 5 visitors a day, it doesn't matter. Okay. So evergreen content, I think I've already said that, right? We want to get that shift. We want to think about that. Not just content, it's evergreen content. And then from there, it needs to be search intent. Okay. Search intent. All right. So now let's talk about the mistakes. Okay. I talked about the myths. Let's talk about some mistakes. Okay. People are just creating content to create content. And it goes with what I just said about search intent. You cannot just say, I'm just going to create some content because I'm creating content. Scott said you should create content. I'm going to create content. I'm going to put out a post about my take on writing in a journal daily, right? Like there's a few people in the academy that were doing that in the beginning. And then once I did a hot seat with them, I'm like, why aren't we doing search stuff for what the search engines are saying that people are searching for versus you saying, this is just what I want to write about, right? And that's fine if you want to just write about anything, but you want to write on a topic that's being searched for, okay? You want to write on a topic that's being searched for. But you don't have to get crazy with the, again, the data. You can just do a very, very little bit, but also know that that's something that's being searched for. All right. I'll give you guys something here in a minute on the action plan because I want to give you guys something to do. And by the way, depending on when you're watching this, if it's live or before Wednesday, got something pretty cool coming that I'm gonna actually help people go through this process. And again, I'm not going to give it all away yet, but it is going to be very simple and it's going to be actionable. And at the very end, you're going to have a piece of content, maybe even the 3 pieces of content, because I'll show you how to take 1 and make 3. So if you're interested in that, I don't have a link for you today. Just write interested in the comments. You can also just DM me. But that's coming. So on Wednesday of this week, again, depending on when you're listening to this, I'm going to make that announcement. It's going to be pretty cool. So check it out when it's available. And if you are struggling with content, if you want to get dialed in and create evergreen content for your brand, a digital asset, by the way, these are digital assets. Think about this, an asset that's working for your business 24/7, 365 days a year. Not a post that's here today in 24 hours it's gone or it's buried. We're not talking about that. We're talking about only creating evergreen assets and really evergreen content that brings traffic back to your brand. Okay. So look out for that. I'm pretty excited about it. Something brand new. All right. So moving on. Mistakes. We just talked about creating content just to create content. Making content perfect. Man, how many of us struggle with perfectionism? I have. I'm better at it now, but I used to. I used to struggle with writing my emails. I'd have my wife read it, and then I'd go back over it, and then I'd have her read it again, and then I just wouldn't send it because I was like, this doesn't sound good. And then finally I got over it, and I said, you know what? Something's better than nothing. And I sent it out, and nothing bad happened. Same thing with content. We created 2 case study brands inside of the academy. And both of those, if you go back and look at the first couple of articles, not that great. They're okay. They're getting traffic right now. And they weren't that great. But if we just sat on those and we didn't create more articles after that and kept getting better and better, we wouldn't have ever got started. Okay. So we got to get over the content perfection trap. All right. So we have to get past that. The best way to get past it is to start doing it. Okay. Just, you got to start creating. Okay. And then the next mistake is choosing the wrong platform for yourself. So what I mean by that is, for some people, showing up on video is easy. I say easy, easier than writing. For you to sit down and write, you might be like, oh, that's painful. Like me. I'd rather do this and then take this, publish it, and then have someone come back and transcribe it and edit it and put it into a well-written thing. Okay. So that's what I would rather do. So don't set yourself up for failure in a sense that you're going to start on a platform just because you think there's more opportunity there. You're going to go there, but it's going to be a struggle and a grind for you to create that content. Okay. So we don't want to fall into that trap. So it's really important when you're starting, you choose the platform or the medium that is going to be best for you. Okay. What is the best one for you? Okay. And I'm not talking about Instagram. I'm not talking about Snapchat. I'm not talking about TikTok. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about, are you going to write content for a blog? Are you going to create videos for YouTube? Those are really the only two that I'm looking at right now. Pinterest, that's somewhat of an amplifier, okay? But it's definitely an evergreen, but I would not start there and say I'm just going to create a Pinterest account with Pinterest boards and pins. I wouldn't start there. I would start with one or the other. I would start with the blog web. Well, I would always have a website, but that I would always start with one or the other there in the beginning. And if you're struggling, even with a website, even if you're struggling with a website, you're like, I just don't want to put up the website, which I think everyone should have that home base. But if you're struggling with that, you just want to get in that content creation rhythm and you feel like a video is going to be super easy for you, then you go down the YouTube road. You just set up an account. You go ahead and start posting videos. You can do that like for free. Okay. But I do think that even if you're going to do that, you'd want to, have a website and a blog that we can then direct people to, which would come later. And really both of those platforms can work well together. But what one is it going to be the easiest for you to be able to create content on a regular basis? All right. So mistakes, creating content just to create content has no meaning behind it as far as the search. Okay. There's no search intent there. Making content perfect. Okay. We don't need to do that. And then choosing the wrong platform for yourself or the wrong medium. Okay. So those are some mistakes. We need to get rid of those. Okay. So with that being said, let's jump into a little bit of an action plan here. Okay. I've got my notes here. So step number one is choosing your platform. We just talked about that. I think before you even think about what content you're going to create, you got to figure out what is that platform that you're going to be publishing to. Is it a blog? Is it YouTube? To me, it's one or the other. Okay. 2, you need to, and again, this is before we write any content or before we create any content, video, whatever, audio, doesn't matter. We want to commit to same day every week in your mind and mark your calendar. This is so critical. So are you going to commit to having your homework done, right? Like, so imagine that you had a teacher say, hey, you need to have this in by Friday. So you're going to make up that day, but then you're going to stick to that day. So let's say it's Friday. Let's say it's Wednesday. And you say, okay, Wednesday by 9 a.m. in the morning, that's when I need to hand in my homework. And that's when it would be done. And then you mark that on your calendar, go to Google Calendar or whatever calendar system you use and take every Wednesday and you just block out that and you say 9 a.m. it's got to be published. It's got to be published, whether it's YouTube, whether it's the blog, doesn't matter. Okay. That's got to be done before we ever even write a piece of content or create a piece of content. Okay. Choose platform, commit to the day that you're going to publish. Okay. The next, we're going to move into, okay, we want to now come up with some search intent content. How are we going to do that? We're going to find questions in your niche that people are already asking. This is the simplest way to figure out what you're going to write about or create a video about. So what are people asking? What are the questions? Can you catch bass in a pond? There's a question, right? Can you catch bass at night? Question, right? There's your post. There's your piece of content. Those are the simplest ones to do. And you can literally probably sit down right now and come up with 5 or 10 of those immediately. All right. Now, again, I am going to walk you through all of this in this. I can't give it away yet, but in this training that I'm going to be doing. Okay. And you are going to have a chance to go through it for free There are some details there. But I'm doing this as a test. So we're going to see how it all shakes out at the end. But I'm going to be announcing that this Wednesday, which is going to be 16th, 17th. Is that 17th? Yeah, today's Monday, 15th, 16th, 17th. I can do math. I'm going to announce it, and then I will announce when we're going to do it, and it will be live. All right. So keep an eye out for that. So we're going to find questions in our niche, basic questions. And you might already have 5 or 10 of them. Might not even need to do any digging. You might not need to go to Google and do a little Google search and then see what comes up, or go to Uber Suggest or Answer to Public, wherever you want to go. Doesn't matter. You need to do that. So you have the plan in place now. So now you're not thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I've got this thing coming up. I got to publish it on Wednesday because that's when I committed to it, but I don't know what I'm going to put together. I don't know how I'm going to create this, all of that stuff. So you need to have that done. Okay. And then moving into, how are you going to create the piece of content? Are you going to write, or are you going to record? One or the other. Okay. Make that decision. Okay. If you're going to write it. If you're going to have someone write it, find someone. Okay. If you're going to record it yourself. Doesn't have to be fancy. You can use your iPhone or whatever phone you're using, the Android. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a fancy mic. You don't need fancy background. You just need to answer the questions. Okay. If you can't do it, find someone that can. Okay. And it's easier than you think, guys. I mean, it really is. I think a lot of people overcomplicate this part of it. Doesn't have to be that hard. You can always level up later. Okay. So write or record, and then post it on your posting date. And that is it. That's the action plan. Okay. So 1, choose your platform, blogging or YouTube. Next one, commit to the same day every week in your mind right now. Mark it on the calendar. 3, find your questions that the market is asking right now. 4, write it or record it. And then 5, I think that's 5. Yeah. Post on your posting date that you committed to. And that's it. We're done. Okay. So let's cover the myths real quick. You have to be everywhere. You have to be on social media 3 times per day. You need to create tons of content. Wrong. Do not have to do that. We need to also shift the mindset. We need to be thinking evergreen content, not just content. And we need to use always the filter of search intent. Okay. And then the mistakes to avoid is creating content just to create it. We don't want to do that. We want to find search intent content. We do not have to make it perfect. A lot of people try to make it perfect, and then choosing the wrong platform for yourself because you find out that it's really not the one that you are good at, or the one that you want to do, or the easiest one for you to do. All right. So hopefully this has helped you. That's the content creation myth and mistakes debunked, and there should be no excuse. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we got any questions here on some content. We'll see what we're doing here. Let me take a sip of coffee. All right. Wow, we got a lot here. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going. Here we go. Wow. Okay. Wow, we got a lot of comments here. Okay, cool. Okay. So this one, I don't know who this is. Just says Facebook user, says one struggle is how to write using infotainment. And what I think this person means is like, how do you make it entertaining? And I think there's a line there. But the thing is I don't know if I would struggle with that. It's like, you can always play with that, but I don't necessarily think that has to be like top of your list that you have to work on. You could always come up with better hooks. If you think about it, people, yes, they are going to resonate with you because you give them a little bit of entertainment because of your personality. Like, there's nothing wrong with letting your personality come through, but do not create a persona of someone, that you're not. Just be yourself. If you're funny, be funny, right? Just don't ramble. That's the one thing I would say too, is when we have someone's attention, it's like for like 4 seconds, we need to capture them with a hook. That's the biggest thing. What are you going to teach them? Tell them, basically what to do. And then from there, let them know how they can follow along or how they can comment and get more help or whatever. Like, that's it. Hook, deliver, call to action. Done. Right? So I wouldn't get stuck on that too much. Yes, you want to be engaging. You don't want to be boring. You want people to hang around, right? Salama says getting started with the right content. And again, this is where people get hung up. That's one of the problems that people face is because they think that, oh my gosh, like what do I create? Again, I am going to go over this, Salama. I'm going to go over this inside of this new training that I'm going to be doing. It's different than a fast track. It's going to be different, but it's going to be really, really good. And I think you're going to like it. It's going to help with that. Todd says, not concise. Creating it daily and knowing how to get relevant content to the people we want to send an offer to. Well, again, it comes down to, okay, so if you have your niche, which you all should already have, you have your niche, you know what these people are probably searching for because it's around that topic, right? So you have to pick a topic, and there's going to be probably multiple topics. And then from there, you're just going to have different angles that are going to answer those questions. So if someone wants to know how to catch more bass in a pond, there's probably going to be other things off of that, or just the generic of like how to catch more bass. Well, then we go into how to catch more bass in a pond, how to catch more bass in a lake, how to catch more bass in the winter, how to catch more bass in the spring, right? So we can just go down that line. So again, you don't have to cover everything right now, okay? But you do have to look at what are the questions that people are asking that you could answer. That's it. Chris is on with us. What's up, Mr. Schaefer? Gary Vee has hundreds of advertising experts as employees. Yes, he does. He runs a media company. I would say finding people and getting the content in their hands. Well, again, Karen, you're finding the people by putting out, like dropping these breadcrumbs out there, right? Or these seeds that are planting, and then people are going to walk by and go, oh, I kind of want one of them. And then they're going to look into it a little bit more, right? So it's in the beginning, we are just planting seeds. Some are going to take, some are not going to take. It's like anything. It was funny. I was just going through this with a lawn guy online. I was going back and forth with him because I've got a little bit of an area of grass that I want to overseed, but I know spring is not a good time to overseed. It's usually in the fall, but I want to overseed because I want better grass. So he was just saying, like, you gotta overseed, let it sit for probably about a week or two, starts to germinate. Some stuff isn't probably going to take, some is. Overseed again and keep overseeding until probably like end of June. And so what he was saying was some's going to catch, some isn't. Just keep overseeding, keep overseeding. That's all we're doing here. We're overseeding with content. So yes, you will find the right people as long as the content is related to what you are talking about, and you'll be fine. Create evergreen content, simple but genius. Another great tip from the professor. What's up, Alejandro? I know that's you. Establishing a routine and time for making weekly content no matter what. Yes, that is so important. I try to include my podcast topics the same as my blog articles and embedded them in the post. And that's great. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay. Now, I could probably do a better job of taking our podcast episode title and I could probably change it up a little bit for a search. And it's something that we're probably are going to do a little bit moving in the future. But I really look at for me, my channel is the podcast because that's where a lot of my audience is. That's where I kind of, I got my start in a sense. The other things are kind of like amplifiers for me. So it's a little bit different for me on that aspect. If I go to the niche site type stuff, it's not. It's really, how do I set seeds so Google finds the people that are searching for stuff related to my niche and then bringing them over. That's all it is. What's up, Octavio? What's up, Jay? Derek, is it better to have a group on Facebook to direct people from your Facebook page and website blog post? Well, doesn't matter to me. I've got both, and the reach is horrible. I'm just here to tell you, okay? Your reach is horrible. Now, I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm still doing it. But my email list is way better. So I focus on that as my primary, and the group and the page, they're amplifiers. That's it. That's all they are. Okay. And we'll get into that in my training that I'm going to do here with this group. We're going to talk about amplifying as well, because there is a time for that, but we can't get stuck on that. Okay. Because already, Derek, you're wanting a group, a page, and then a website, right? We might not be able to do all of them right now because we're going to get overwhelmed. right? So we got to start with the evergreen. Evergreen is a Facebook group evergreen? Not really, right? Is your Facebook page evergreen? Not really. Is your blog post that you put up on your website? Yeah, that's evergreen, right? So that makes the most sense to start there. The Facebook page and group can amplify. They can drive attention to it. That's how you would do that. At what point should you consider repurposing content for Insta, etc.? A ways down the road. A ways down the road, because the time and resources you're doing that, and the very little bit that you're getting is not going to be if you would have just focused on creating one more piece of evergreen content. Okay, that's what I would do. And then again, think about this: if you do not, and this goes for anyone right now, if you do not have an email list before you start doing the whole social media, Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff, if you do not have the email list right now, that's the thing you should be doing on top of the content. Because if you create the piece of content that can be found out there, the evergreen piece of content, right? We plant it, all right? And we let Google index it or YouTube index it, right? We give it some time. In the meantime, we can have our email list and we can drive traffic over there. So if I told you guys that, right? So on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page, there's like 33, I forget what it is, like 30-ish thousand people following that page. You would think that I would be able to get at least 3,000 people to see my stuff every time I post. That's not the case. Not at all. Like sometimes I'm lucky to get 1,200, and that's a good post. Okay. Now, on an email, if you send it out to 30,000, you're going to get a minimum of 10%, even if you're doing not such a good job with your subject lines, right? So that'd be 3,000 people, right? And if you're doing a better job and getting 20% open rate, you get 6,000. 6,000 versus maybe 1,000 if you have 30,000. Just doesn't make sense. So to me, more evergreen email list, direct traffic, and then you can make offers. It just works so much easier, but we all want to, but they get Instagram followers. And I just seen the next guru says Instagram, get 100,000 followers in 60 days. And then, have this massive following. I don't buy it. Okay. I just don't buy it. And I don't want to even do the work that it's going to take to try to get 100,000 people on Instagram when I don't even own them. Right. And I mean, own them. I mean, I don't have control of them. Okay. I've been ready for this. Get people to the product and scale. Yes, that's exactly what we want to do. Is repurposing content of others with your own slant to it, then reinventing the wheel, the best way to start getting more content out there? Well, a simple way to create that content and kind of what you're talking about is like a roundup post. You would never want to take someone's post and take it and copy it and put it on your website. You'd never would want to do that. You would write a summary about the content that you found, and you might do 5 different posts that are all related. And then you would email all of those content creators and let them know that you featured them on the blog. And that way gives you a piece of content. It's a roundup post. It's useful for someone coming there, but also you're outlinking to other people. So that is a pretty simple way to create some content and also possibly get other people over to your site from their audience. So that is something that could work. Okay, this is a good question, Derek. Should we tag or put a pixel on all our content that is evergreen? The answer is yes. So this is a great question. So once you have a website, one of the very first things that you want to do is put a Facebook pixel on that immediately. And it's going to go site-wide. And then from there, any piece of content or anything, anytime someone lands on your site, they can become part of your custom audience inside of Facebook. And then if you want to retarget those people, you have the option. So yes. Cool. Tiffany says interested. This Facebook user says interested. I'll probably be able to see who it is later when I go back. Salama. Cool. I had to get over perfectionism or nothing was going to get created. And it may not be great, but I got a product now. Exactly. And you can refine it. And I think what Derek's talking about is he created his digital product, right? And if you created your digital product, you can always refine it. That's the cool thing about digital. You can always update it, revise it. We can also let our audience know that it's been updated and revised. It's another reason to promote it, right? What about Clubhouse? I keep hearing about it. Things about it. It's the new shiny object, or or is it real? Well, I think it has its place, right? Are some people going to benefit from Clubhouse? The only thing I see Clubhouse as being good for people right now that want to go in and listen to what their market is saying. It's not for you necessarily for you to educate yourself. It's more for you to listen in on your market and hearing the questions that are being asked. That's it for me. Right now, I've never been in a Clubhouse room as of yet. Not saying I won't, I just have not. I hear a lot of people spending hours on Clubhouse. That's hours that I could be doing something else. What am I gaining from being on Clubhouse when I can be right here with you? I can be on my podcast. I can publish on YouTube, and I can email my list. Like, why do I need to add something else to my life? See, the difference between me and everyone else out there, and it's okay what everyone else is doing. If it works for you, do it. If you want a complex, if you want a busy, busy, busy life, then go chase them all. I am very strict on where I'm going to spend my time. As you may or may not know this, but I do not spend much time on Instagram. I post every now and then on my story. It's easy. I don't post on my feed much at all. Now, do I advertise on Instagram? Yeah, it's part of Facebook's ad system. So you'll see me show up there in an ad, right? Do I spend hours on Facebook a day? No, I don't. I run ads. I show up here and do this. I might post a couple times when I feel like it, but that's it. I email my list Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? I come out with a podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do these coffee talks Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's just simple, right? I don't need to be on Clubhouse. There's probably opportunity there for me. I don't need to be there because it's going to make my life more busy. And I don't want that. If you resonate with that, I want to hear from you. But does that sound about right for you? Do you want to be busy, or do you want to do things that you know are actively going to be helping your brand and you can just get yourself dialed in? Like, doesn't that sound better than being on the hamster wheel where you got to keep feeding it? Like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted on Facebook today. I'm going to lose in the algorithm. The algorithm's going to penalize me. All this stuff. I don't want to think like that. I don't want to have that pressure. Right? I didn't start a business online so I could be stressed and I got to feel like I'm falling behind all the time. I don't want to feel like that. Let's see. Where do you find people to help you transcribe your YouTube videos and turn them into SEO friendly blogs? It's very simple. You can go to, Upwork, FreeUp, and Fiverr. I found a guy on Fiverr that's doing a couple of test videos for me. That basically he's taking a blog post that's a written blog post and then turning it into a video with someone narrating it and putting captions and footage behind it. And it cost me 25 American dollars. That's what it cost me. It's pretty good. It's about 8 minutes long too. Crazy. So yeah, you can find them on Fiverr, FreeUp, and then Upwork. Some options there. Do some days work better for publishing, in your opinion? Days that do not work, every day works. Publish. People get hung up. When's the best time to email? When's the best time to publish your podcast? Just getting it published is the most important thing. So just pick a day and publish, right? So for me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday works great for me. Okay. And now it's my routine. It's kind of like, that's my work schedule in a sense, right? So like Monday for me for email, it's by design, is Monday is everybody's back from the weekend. They're probably looking forward to hearing something, right? New or positive or something that's going to help them and benefit them. And I'm always trying to show up in their inbox to help them. So the other reason I do it on Monday is because then after 24 hours on Tuesday, I get to send to the unopens and I get another 8 to 10% of people that didn't open on Monday because they were busy. And then Wednesday, fresh email. Then Thursday, unopens. Friday, fresh email. Saturday, unopens. Sunday, off. And there it is. So don't get hung up on what's the best time to post? It adds more pressure. Pick the best time for you that you're going to be able to do it consistently, and you won. Let's see. Where do we research? What people are searching for? A simple thing is just do a Google search. Go in and say, how to catch more bass and let it fill in, right? how to, or not even how to, it could be, uh, can you catch bass in a pond? Question mark. Um, what is best bait to catch bass in pond? Right. So just start with a question, and then it will usually autofill. And then from there, look down a little ways and you'll see a block where it says suggest or other suggested questions or other related questions, something like that. And then that'll give you 4 or 5 more. All right. Um, and actually, there's a little trick there. I'm not going to go over it right now because we've got to wrap this up. But I'm going to be covering that inside of the content creation training that I'm going to be doing, which really is going to allow you to really make this super, super simple. And I'm actually going to be right along there with you as you start creating content. So again, if you're interested, drop interested in the comments. And on Wednesday, I will be announcing it, and I'll give you all the details then. Okay. What's up, Mr. Jeremy? Jeremy or Jeremy? Enjoying this content so far. Awesome. Thank you. When does the training start? I'll have details on that Wednesday. I will say it won't be, it'll be, let's just say this, it'll be in the very beginning of, I won't give you the exact date, but it'll be in the very beginning of March. Okay. Google is our friend. Yeah, everyone uses it, right? Let's see. How important is it to edit your video? Again, done is better than perfect, right? So if it's going to take you a ton of time to edit, then just upload it, right? Like just get it up there. You can clean it up quick, but if you wanted to do like a whole bunch of graphics and a whole bunch of B-roll and all of this other stuff, it's going to take a lot more time. So the best thing to do there on videos is either showing you how to do something, right? How to do something, or answering questions, right? Like, something might be like, hey, if you've been wondering what's the best way to catch bass in a pond, you're going to want to stick around, because in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that I've been able to use over the years to catch some really massive bass. Stick around. That's what we're going to cover. That's it. There's your opening. There's your hook. And then you just jump in and go, hey, Scott, the bass master for catching bass. I used to, try to use worm, and at night it doesn't work as well. And I would just start to talk about it and tell them about it. Right. And then I might even say, if you guys have any more questions on this, drop them in the comments. Let me know. If you think this was useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give it some YouTube love or whatever. That's it. Just start where it's going to simplify that process. Thoughts on batching in the beginning? I think it's really smart, but again, I don't want to overwhelm. So I would say come up with, if you're going to do videos, do 4 different topics and sit down in one day and knock out 4 videos. And then you got the month's worth of content done. Karen, I think the biggest thing for people, don't commit. Yes, that's one thing that you've drilled, is being consistent and doing it. It sounds easy, but people don't do it. I have it on my calendar that I post 3 times a week, no exceptions, and I've stuck to it, and it's because of you. Appreciate that, Karen. And yeah, it does. It does. It makes a huge difference, but you got to make the commitment up here. Let's see. So let's see. Money online simple. It does make it a little easier to hustle when you have hundreds of employees. Not that I'm against hustling, just hustle smart. LOL. Yeah, that is true. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't want 100 employees, number one, either. It's not my thing. Don't want that. Should you start with one video or more than one to create binge watching? No, just start with one, Salma. Again, so you and I are going to have a conversation right now. Don't worry about when you post it. Don't worry about editing it. And don't worry about having more than one. Create one and post it. Done. Okay. All right. How do you embed links in your post on Facebook? How do you embed links? Yeah, you just in Facebook, you're just going to copy. It's not an embed link. It's just a share link. So in YouTube, you would share that. Now, you can do that. I'm not sure you're going to get a ton of people going over to YouTube from Facebook. It's 2 different platforms. But basically, a link is just, you're just going to copy the URL and just copy it in there and paste it. Let's see. It also depends on the audience you have. I'm in real estate. LinkedIn and Instagram has been working for me. You're right, but there's probably still people that are searching on Google that you would come up from or come in from. But LinkedIn, you're right. LinkedIn might be a great avenue for you, right? And I think LinkedIn is now having content there where people can view videos and all of that stuff. So again, if that works for you, but I would still want to create a piece of evergreen content that is able to be found and searched for. If you're in real estate, it's like, and if you're, I don't know, if you're helping people buy a house, sell a house, any of that stuff, you can put together like a whole bunch of great content for helping people get maximum dollar for when they sell their house or or how to save on commissions. Like people have those questions all the time on Google. So you would still want to leverage that. Derek, so it's better to post to our social media, to our Facebook page, and concentrate on the evergreen stuff on our website. Yeah, it's actually, let's start with the evergreen, and then we'll talk about pushing it on social. Are all groups reachable via blogs and YouTube? Are all age groups reachable via blogs? Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't be. I mean, if you have ever done a search on Google, you're going to find, it doesn't matter what your age is. So yeah, I mean, my son is 22 and he searches on Google all the time. So yeah, I don't think it matters. Do you teach Facebook ads? We don't have a course or anything for that, but inside of our digital product creation fast track workshop and inside of our email list building fast track workshop, there is Facebook ads training in there. We are going to be doing a full training inside of our Brand Creators Academy. That's going to be more specific to just Facebook ads. But we do teach when we're doing digital products how to get people to your lead magnet, and then how to upsell them through a Facebook ad. And then in the email list building one, we're teaching how to get a lead from Facebook over to your lead magnet, and really the basics of it, but really that's the core of it. So yes, I don't want to be just busy. Yeah, me neither. Life by design means saying no to some shiny objects that will complicate your life. Yes, that's my motto. If our time is limited, it may be better to use Upwork, FreeUp, or Fiverr. Yes, it's exactly right. If you have the capital for it, then, and again, let's go into this real quick. A lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't want to spend the money. If you're starting a business, you probably need to spend a little bit of money. So if it means that you need someone to help you write or help edit a video or something like that, you might need to invest in that. Okay. Let's see, the Scooby Life. Do you like Answer the Public? I love it. Very expensive. I think it's like $100 a month for searches. So I don't have a paid version. I don't feel as I need it. You do get 3 searches a day, I think, for free. I like Uber Suggest, which is also paid now. They give a free version, like the 5 searches or something. Scooby Life says interested. Cool. Russ says interested. Derek, interested. This is what I've been ready for. Yes, you have. You've been asking a long time, and it's finally here. Let's see. If we to write it, it's like it never happened. Yeah. Let's see. What is the job title scripts that you are looking for if you want a person to make a video using photos and video under your voice? Is that person an editor? Also $25 on Fiverr? Yeah, it could be. I just searched for convert blog to video, something like that. And then I found a whole bunch. All right, let's wrap up here. So you have 2 digital products and an academy. Currently right now we have, well, got more than that. So yes. Okay. So our fast track workshops, the way that they work is they're very specific on those areas. This content creation thing that we're doing right now will also become another training outside of the academy, but it's also people get everything that we create on the inside of the academy when they're a monthly member. But you can also you can get access to these outside of the academy if you wanted to invest in those. So we have email list building fast track, we have digital product creation fast track, we have niche finder fast track now. So basically to help you find your niche. We did that recently. And then we also have the Brand Creators Playbook. And if you just go to brandcreators.com, and then if you just go under training, the training tab, you'll find everything right there. Although the niche finder fast track workshop, I don't believe is there yet. But yeah, everything is inside of our academy. Uh, let's see. Octavio, what's up, man? You can hire a writer to create 4 quality blogs per month for 120. Ask me how. I know. Yeah, you do, and you're getting traffic from them now, so it's definitely worth the investment. Scott, you obviously reached some major aha moments about creating an online biz, growing health and balance. Can do a course or video in retrospect. What's not important? What's essential? So I think what you're saying is that yeah, I've been through a lot of ups and downs and balance, and I've chased shiny objects and all of that stuff. Um, so I guess what you're saying is I could probably teach how do you actually balance that, and I probably could. But that's a lot of stuff that I do in the academy too, right? It's like I just when we do our bi-weekly calls, I like to sprinkle that stuff in because I think it's important, right? And for me, I'm even going to be speaking more on that. Like if you come here and you're like, "Oh, I want to hustle. I want to follow that whole mindset of hustle, hustle, hustle." You're probably not going I'm not going to be that guy for you. If you want lifestyle and if you want to not feel busy, 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 and you got to keep chasing it, but you want to do things that are, they're being utilized and you're working, I don't want to say smarter because then you would say like, well, hustling isn't smart. For those people, it is. For me, it's not. It's just for me, I want to create things and know that I'm building assets versus it just being like I'm just doing that so I can keep feeding that algorithm. So to me, it's about how do we simplify? All right, let's wrap this up. Salama says, "What tools do you pay for monthly and recommend for a beginner?" It really just depends on. I mean, the first one is well, you need a hosting account. So what, $5 a month? You need that, and you need. I mean, the way I look at it is ConvertKit. There's a free version of ConvertKit, up to 1,000 subscribers, but then it's like $30 a month. So that to me is a must. Um, Other than that, I mean, creating content, paying for content. As far as tools, I mean, there's some plugins that you could get that you can add. They aren't 100% like out of the gate necessary. This is the thing, right? It's more about getting your foundation built and set and then getting in a routine of creating content, building that email list so you can share it with people and then start thinking about a digital product so then you have an offer to sell them. Like that's it in a nutshell. The content side of things, it helps in all areas because now we can take that content, we can create a digital product, right? And we talk about that in the academy. We actually have some students that have already done that. We teach that in the digital product fast track workshop as well. But yeah, and Octavio says 1 per week to start is a great pace. Yes, it is. It is. I agree. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up. This went long today for our Monday, but content creation is a big deal. All right. So here's what I'm going to say right now. I want you guys, if you need a recap of this, go back and listen to the very beginning where I went through and walked you through like the mistakes, the myths, all of that stuff, and really that action plan. But if you do need help with this, and I mean like help coming up with content ideas, then from there, how to execute on them, how to create the content, and then how to publish it, and you want to actually get your first piece of content from idea to created to published, then you're gonna want to know what's happening here, and I'm going to announce it on Wednesday. All right, but I'm just saying that I'm going to be doing something here. I've never done it this way before. I'm going to test it. I'm going to try it, and it is going to be free for the people that show up live. And then from there, we will obviously have it available at a later date. Anyone that's in the academy that's watching this, you guys don't have to do anything. You're already going to be part of this. So I will give you guys some details probably later today. But guys, it's exciting. It's fun. And I think content is definitely one of the core pieces of building out a brand that could create assets in your business that will just give you a constant flow of traffic, free traffic, by the way, and targeted traffic. And there's different types of posts, right? And I'm going to be covering those inside this training as well. But there's 3 different types of posts. And if you do them right, you're going to attract the right people that are going to be able to continue to come into your brand and follow up with you and join your email list and potentially buy one of your products, but also people that are interested in just buying products. We can attract those people too. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, have an amazing day. We'll be back here Wednesday with a pretty big announcement. So stick around. And do me a favor. Share this with someone. If you think this was valuable, share it with someone. All right. Maybe just tag them in the comments. And that way they can see what this is all about. We would love to have them. And I'm really just on a mission to help people simplify their brand building, work a little smarter, build digital assets in the brand that keep working over and over and over again. And then that's a compound effect, just like a stock. It's going to build and build and build. All right. So guys, have an awesome day. Take care, take action, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.